Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. My name is Andy Zaremba, and this is another episode of Vancouver Real. And with me behind the helm today is Mike.
Hey, everybody. Pleasure to be with you. Thanks for joining us. Andy, nice to see you too.
Yeah, it's good to be behind the mic this consistently. We've been ripping off podcasts week to week.
The Tuesday recordings.
Tuesday recordings, yeah. And as usual, we're recording out of 70 West Grover Street here in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, out of our business and studio at Float House. And if you have no idea what Float House is, you can go and check out the website. It's floathouse.ca. And what we do is we offer flotation therapy. And basically what we do is we put people into boxes in the dark, floating in water, and we make you think about your life. And that's right. And that's pretty much what it is. So you're like, that doesn't sound too appealing. I'm like, well, it can be.
Hey, 5 years of business doesn't lie, folks.
There you go. Yeah, we're probably close to hosting, I'm going to guess around 90K.
Yeah,
90K
like
floats, something
90,000 unique people, or
no,
total
like
floats?
Probably about 40,000 unique people just within our centers,
right?
And 90,000-ish floats right now. I have to check the numbers, but we're getting up there.
And that's not even including, all the other locations that are, they're
under the Float House banner,
but they're under the Float House banner. So,
it's a lot of hours of collective conscious meditation going on.
That's right.
There. So, if you'd like to learn more about floating, go to floathouse.ca or go to YouTube and type in what is floating, and you'll find our 7-minute synopsis video on flotation therapy. And if you'd like to give it a shot, use the promo code VancouverReal, and that will get you a 20% discount on a single float.
Yes. And we want to make a quick little announcement for the Vancouver Real community. So this podcast also has an in-person portion to it, and we'll be getting those kind of monthly meetups that we were doing rocking again now that we have our two managers, our community managers back, Sean and Candy. So they're going to be getting that ball rolling really soon, I'm sure. And so you can get a part of that community by going to the Facebook group page, Vancouver Real Community, and then also just going to our website. You can join the mailing list at vancouverreal.tv, sign up, and you can join any of these free events. And they're kind of very broad in terms of topics and what we do, little workshops, stuff like that, just like the podcast itself, kind of like highlighting different features within the city. But
it's all good for you.
Area. All good for you.
All good and useful
holistic
things.
Yeah.
And also the mindful mass. I gave a few false positives. Would that be the correct term? Because I was hoping to do one at City Hall.
Right.
And I think because of the transitions happening in City Hall right now, my person is not there. So I have a new person, and they it's just difficult dealing with people that when they're trying to switch over, scheduling and get the conversation going again. Tricky. So it's just like, okay, starting from scratch. So we're still looking for a location for the next event. Okay. But you can link up with Vancouver Mindful Mass Meditation Mob on Facebook. go to mindfulmass.org, and you can join us for any of our meditation events. That's always a mouthful to say, and I think we butcher it every single time.
I think just go to the website, because the group page for the Facebook's linked there, and then also you can sign up for the mailing list as well.
That makes it easy.
Probably just go to the mindfulmass.org. It's a beautiful website.
Yeah, totally. And lastly, we'd like to talk about, my two favorite supplements in the world right now.
Yes.
Which happen to be Brain Evolve, which we sell at Float House. It's a nootropic, and it's actually been used to treat concussion. And there's actually clinical research backing it now in its treatment of concussion. And Brain Evolve has really been blowing up lately. It's been on Dragon's Den. He was just recently at the Pro Bowl. Matt Bennett was at the Pro Bowl, educating NFL players about his product, and it's amazing. It makes you very clear. I find that my thinking is very clear, and I just feel very good and balanced. But the best part is you get an amazing night's sleep when you take it. It's a nootropic that you take at night before you go to sleep, and it's really, really great. It's the best thing I've ever taken in that sense. So check out Brain Evolve or bennettschoice.com. And lastly, the Grind Bar. It's a local bar made by our friend Dave Wheel. And it's a CBD energy bar, which is fantastic. It's got a little bit of caffeine in it. It's all natural, organic ingredients, high fat, low sugar. So it's keto friendly. And it has a little bit of CBD, which I find really balances out the caffeine and also helps with inflammation and all the other benefits that CBD offers. So if you'd like to learn more about that, I think the website's not up. It'll be up soon, so you can check that out. It's
Dave was just
grindbar.com.
He was on the podcast recently, which was an awesome podcast, and he really goes into depth on how he formulated this product and like his reasons behind it, and it's very intentional. Like Dave's a very intentional guy, and so definitely check out. We sell it at Float House, and I think he's got it in a bunch of different places around the city. So
you can go to Body Energy Clubs,
right,
or you can order them online as well. So he's got them in those places.
Grind Bar,
Grind Bar. So enough of the
plugs
and advertisements and all that stuff.
Let's move on.
I'm really excited for our guest today, a repeat to the Vancouver Real podcast,
Welcome
a fellow
back.
Man Talks Mastermind member, Dr. Kayvon K.
Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome back to Vancouver Real.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. Good to see you guys again.
Yeah,
Looking
we
good.
were talking a little bit before the podcast, and I pointed out how pasty white I am. And fortunately, you don't have that problem. You know, you have the natural.
No,
glow
I have
all
the
year
natural
round.
time all year round. Yes.
I know. Me on camera, I look like I might be sick or something. But like you, man, you
It must be the
radiate
camera.
health. It must be the camera. It's the camera, for sure.
It reduces
So-
2 shades of color.
Yeah,
At least.
Yeah, and you're heading out of town.
Yes.
Where are you
Next
going?
week, I am going to go to Bali for a vacation for 3 weeks, and I do need it. I have been working hard recently,
Yeah.
so I am looking forward to unplug from everything. And just like the other vacation last time that I had to Bali, I did whatever I wanted. If I wanted to work, I worked. If I wanted to rest, I rested. So just that whole unplug and follow and do what you enjoy at that moment, I very much look forward to that.
Nice.
You know what, the whole like nomadic entrepreneur type
Yes.
person, do you find that you actually get a lot of work done when you're doing that? Because I feel like if I was on vacation and trying to work at the same time, there'd be so much distraction pulling me off to do different
Right.
things and go to the beach or go relax or go see the sights or whatever. Do you actually are you still productive when you're there?
Well, you mentioned a very interesting point. It's the distraction part. I am most productive when I am traveling, so the day of the travel, not when I am there. So I find myself working so much better in airplanes, in airports, and that sort of thing. So basically, a trick to become a millionaire is to travel once a month
Right.
and use the few hours. And I know some people, they do that to, let's say, write a book or edit a book. They just book a flight and go to a destination, and during the flight, they schedule their work. They get it done in one batched piece of work, and they have a short trip, and they come back and they go for that. So while I'm traveling, I am most productive. When I am at the destination, it really depends on where I'm going and how long I'm there and all of that. But yeah, I find the whole traveling part to make me very productive because it's least amount of distractions.
And this is sort of your area of expertise, right? You are a productivity specialist, or you had a term. What do you-
Master level certified productivity coach.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
So you are like the guy who could optimize productivity pretty much wherever you are, it seems like.
Yes.
And the last time you were on, if you want to go back after this and listen to it, you gave a lot of really interesting tips and tricks for people to optimize their work habits and things like that. And I imagine you have more of that in store for us today, because you've been working on a few new projects, and you actually have a new website, and your website is
Let's Doing
masterclass.com.
Yeah. Less doing as in less is more.
Yeah.
So less doing masterclass.com.
Less doing. That sounds very much in line. People, around Floathouse, we like to do less.
Yes.
Personally, we like to do nothing, but it's like, you got to do something. So
Yes.
how do we do less? That's maybe a good way to start. How can we do less but be productive?
Well, yeah, and a lot of it has to do what are the tasks that we do not want to do or we shouldn't be doing. So less doing and being productive has to go hand in hand with being impactful and being effective. So in other words, we should do a lot of the important kind of work, the kind of work that makes a difference, moves the needle, and we also enjoy doing it. And all the other things that they may be trivial or we don't enjoy them or we're not good at them, we have to do less and less of those and let other people to do them for us. So basically, you want to look at your work and optimize the work that you're doing so you can outsource and automate everything else that's left. So optimize, automate, outsource would be the steps for you to go through, and pick and cherry pick the ones that they're right for you, and everything else either automated or outsourced.
Right. So it reminds me of that whole story of the big rocks, you know,
Yes.
taking care of the big rocks in your life. And
Yes.
the professor has the big rocks. He puts them in a jar and fills it up with sand and fills it up with water. And he's like, if you fill up the jars with, you know, all the little things, then you're going to miss out on the big, really important things.
Correct, right.
So it sounds like that's what you're getting at. Now, that 3-step process, say it again? It's
Optimize, automate, outsource.
optimize, automate, and outsource. Okay.
Correct.
So let's go through that process. Like how does one implement those steps into their life in whatever projects they have going on, maybe within their work, or how can they implement that in their life to really to benefit them?
Well, like many other things, the best approach is to start with the end in mind, right? So we start at the end. Why are we doing this? The end result should be it frees us from the busy work. So it's not good just to be busy. So those are the sand, right? Yeah, we can get busy with just that sort of thing, have a full day of activity, but how much important result did we create? So it's about that. It's freeing ourselves from the busy work. It's business, it's not busyness, right?
Yeah.
And optimization is looking at a process and asking yourself, well, as you said, doing nothing. Can we get away without doing this thing at all? Does this thing, if we don't do it, does it break the business? Does, is it really important for it to happen?
So like an 80-20 sort of deal?
Yeah. It is the 80-20 approach. What are the 80% that we the
20% that give you 80% of your results. Yeah.
So what are the 80% that 80% of the work that is going to only give us the 20% of the results? And how about not just do that?
Reducing it as much as possible, cutting it as much out as possible.
Yes.
And I guess this is the whole optimization process.
Correct. It is the optimization. So identifying your most important 20%, which creates the 80% of the results, is the optimization process.
Do you find that people struggle just getting clarity on that sometimes?
Correct. Yes, I do.
Yeah? Oh, okay.
A lot. And it's because of those questions. The first question, can I get away without doing this? Usually we don't ask ourselves that question. When we have something in front of us, we naturally want to get it done, right?
Right.
We might be good at it or not, or it might be important or not, but our natural inclination is to get it done. It's the hunter-gatherer kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But wait a second, look at it. Do I really need this, right? And when it applies to everything else, simplifying our life or minimizing the clutter, minimalism. It's all about that. Finding out what is it that's in your life that it really doesn't need to be there. Same thing applies to your work and tasks. So the first question is that, can I get away without having this? Number 2 is this really important for it to happen? And the next question so if that's a yes, am I the right person to do this or not? And if, again, the answer is yes, then do it. If you can't do it right now, then defer it to sometime in future. Or if you're not the right person to do it, you want to delegate it or outsource it to somebody else. And if it's not important and you're not the right person to do it, just delete it. So it's basically a bunch of Ds. You either do it, defer it, delegate it, or delete it.
Right.
I actually have like an infographic about this created. I'll send it to you guys so you can share it with your audience.
Sure.
It's that whole process of the questions. Is this important? Am I the right person? Do I want to do it now? Or all of that, and ending up with that sort of thing.
I'm down with all that for sure. But now when it comes to the delegating, let's say you're a one-man show.
Yeah.
You're doing it all by yourself. You're doing something online potentially.
Yes.
And maybe you're just starting up. You don't have a lot of capital, right? So how would you recommend people delegate in a situation like that? Because there's lots of tasks that need to get done that we don't enjoy doing.
Correct. It's kind of a chicken and egg thing. We think we don't have enough capital to delegate, but the reason that we don't have enough capital is that we don't delegate. So for the reason that you want to have more capital, more revenue, more cash flow, you need to delegate more, because every time you delegate something that you're not the right choice, your time can be used for something else. You can use that time to generate more valuable income.
So you're leveraging in a sense.
Correct. Yeah. It is very much that. And with technology out there, that connects us to so many people in so many different parts of the world, we all can afford to delegate a few things here and there. Look at Fiverr. It's just $5, just like less than a trip to Starbucks.
Yeah.
But we can outsource creating a logo.
Sure.
And they do a good job. Or create a 3D version of a logo. Or create a little video
Yeah.
or animation
Yeah.
or infographic. So you have an idea that helps people. You draw that on a piece of paper, send it to Fiverr for $5. Somebody will make that into a nice, interesting infographic for you. With my friend, we are starting a podcast, and we hired a guy to do the voiceover and put the music on it, and all of that. I don't know, like $15 or so. So $5, $10, $15 can take care of a lot of tasks.
Right.
There are people
Like virtual assistants?
Virtual assistants, yeah, in third world countries that they can do a lot of things, and because they have been doing this for a while, a lot of them can do good work. There are so many people out there that is kind of confusing how to find the right people, which, as a side note, I am writing a guide about that. It's called Outsourcing and Delegation, the Ultimate Guide.
Nice. That would be very useful.
So that would be ready. And again, I can share the link with you guys as well.
Sure.
So
send us the link at the end of it, and I'll attach it to the notes.
Beautiful. I'll do that.
Yeah.
So the idea for the VAs, for example, you want to have a process of choosing the right VA for yourself. One is, well, look at the reviews. It's like an Amazon or movie. We do that for a movie that we want to watch. We can do it for the VA too. You look at the reviews and see how many stars or how many positive reviews that they're getting. Number two is communicate with them. Send a message, send a request just to see how they respond, as in response time and the professionality of the response, just to test them. And number three is send them a small task. Just test them. And then take it to the next level, like baby steps. And after a few people, 5 or 6 people, I'm sure you find somebody that you can develop a conversation and just go from there.
Awesome. Well, that's great. So that is what part is that? That is the optimization stage, I'm guessing.
Well, that was actually the outsourcing part of it.
Outsourcing, right.
The outsourcing part of it. And here's the thing. Another thing that can help people to help you the most is the optimization first. You can look at any process and see what is the best way to do this. For example, I want to pay my bills. One way could be get the envelopes one by one, open them one by one, log into the bank account, pay, log out, log to the other bank account, or BC Hydro website or whatever. However, or you can, look at that and say, I'm going to do this every Tuesday, so all of the envelopes are together, and you open them up at the same time. Maybe you go through the process and circle all the amounts, so instead of wasting time every time looking at them, and the ones that they all have to be paid with the same bank, all piled together, so when you log in, you boom, 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 pay and get out. So that's an example of optimizing a process.
So sort of batching the work.
Batching is one way to optimize the process, as in timing, and also removing the extra steps, right? This is an exaggeration, but let's say I have 2 bank accounts for 4 bills. Bill number 1, bank account number 2. Bill number 2, the other bank account. And bill number 3, I have to go back to bank account number 1. Well, the smart way is to do them together.
Right.
Things like this is an exaggeration, as I mentioned, but things like that. So, and a lot of that happens when you are going to outsource it to somebody else, because basically you want to write them a manual of, you go through these steps to create this result that I want to happen. Let me give you an example. I have streamlined this process for content development. We can go through that if you like. I think
actually, that would be very useful for us.
Okay, how about I just do that?
Okay. Yeah.
So you mentioned the other podcast that I was here, and we talked about so many different things. So there are so many things that we can share with our people in our area of expertise.
So this is an example that, like, if you wanted to do a podcast, you could apply these things to your podcast.
Correct.
Or you can use these as examples of how you could apply this into your business or projects or life or whatever. Yeah.
So in my business, as a coach, a lot of it is about content development, content to teach, content to share, content, all of that. And I looked at the whole process and I identified the bottleneck, which was me. I was the bottleneck because I had the ideas in my head, not in a format that can be shared with other people, i.e., let's say blog post, an article, different things. So I hired the next person in that process, which is basically I wanted someone to have a conversation with, and that person can mine what's going on in my head and put that on paper in a presentable way.
That's interesting.
And it goes around knowing your own strengths. And I'm going to give you a quick example. Are you a reader or listener when it comes to absorbing information? And when it comes to communicating, are you a writer or a talker? Just as simple as that. And I know I'm a listener talker, right? So I hired this person to have that talk with so she can take that and write what we talked about. So transferring that from and removing me as the bottleneck of the ideas and the words showing up on paper.
Right. Because I guess like if you, is that for a blog then,
yes.
for example? Yeah.
So basically, I had this opportunity, but it wasn't going anywhere. So in many situations, it's from getting from what you are to the next level. For me, was from not happening to happening, from zero to many. So I started this about a year ago, and now I just got my 15th article on Forbes.com.
Nice. Congrats.
Okay. And all of that is, thank you. And because of the weekly calls. So every call, and this is another thing, the call is scheduled every week. So I know it's coming up on Thursday. So there is something that I am going to contribute to that. So it's either reviewing an article from before that consistency is helping me to create consistent content. So we do that one call and record the conversation. The audio becomes a podcast episode.
Nice.
She listens to that and she writes it down and becomes a Forbes article. And they do their own editing, so their own version. The original version that we wrote becomes a blog post on my website, which can also get on Medium. And we send that article to a video producer, and they make a short 1-minute video of summary of the article, like a 500-word summary. And I send the article, I highlight sentences from the article, and I send it to my graphic designer, and they create 4 or 5 memes for social media from the same content that we created. And sometimes there is a process, so a graph or infographic can be created. And when an idea is crystallized, maybe in 1 or 2 articles, then you can have a webinar about it. So I have one phone call. An article is created, blog post, 4 or 5 memes, a podcast episode, webinar, and infographics, and all of that is from one phone call is being created. So as you
How long is the phone call?
It's usually an hour.
Wow. That's pretty damn optimized.
Yeah. So see, that's an example of optimization.
Yeah.
And then when we do that, because all I wanted was just to create content and how to repurpose that one time of delivery, then the next level idea will hit you. And what happened in my case was, well, if I do these talks, these calls in a series, let's say 4 or 5 calls about a topic like focus, then you have a series of articles about focus. And when you have 5 or 6 or 7 of them, you put them all together and they become a little book called Focus.
An ebook.
An ebook or an actual book. You write a book just by talking once a week.
What's the cost for this service? So hold on. So it's one person that creates all that content for you?
No. There are different people. You are creating this whole process that can be automated and outsourced to many different people.
Interesting. So can we dive a little deeper into that process?
Yes.
So let's say, for example, you have your phone call.
Yeah.
It's recorded.
Yeah.
Then what?
The recording goes to my copywriter. She writes an article and sends it back to me for review. And it's a Google Doc. So I make suggestions and we have that final version. We submit that to Forbes. They go through their own review and approval process. Sometimes they change a few things here and there. And when it's approved, they put it online. They own the ownership of that topic for 30 days. And after that, I can repurpose that and repost that, exactly that, or my original version before their edits to my blog post.
Do they at least credit you for that post, though?
Yeah, it is
Okay.
under my name.
Okay.
I'm as one of the Forbes, it's called Coaches Council. I'm one of the members on the topic of effectiveness and productivity. And if you search my name, the articles will come up.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
that is being created over there. So it goes out, it does its work of creating authority and all of that. And you can use social media to take full advantage of that. And then we do the same thing with our own version as a blog post. So that goes to your web designer. And the suggestions for the pictures and all of that you have. The summary can go to the video production company. And the graphics for infographics or memes goes to your graphic designer. So these could be all the same person, different VAs, different companies. I am a big fan of unlimited packages. There is a company that I use called Design Pickle. And basically you have a membership for unlimited graphic design. It's, you pay your membership and that's it.
How much is it?
I think it's like 3,000 or 4,000 a year or something like that.
Okay.
Right. So I just don't have to think about it.
Right.
And that's another thing, I realized having this option and use it, works better for my mindset as opposed to every time I want to send something out, think of it, that's another money that I have to pay. So it could be all of these little $5 or $10, but every time
Over the course of a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is your internal conversation with yourself. If you think this is not going to cost me anything anymore, you just keep sending it.
Right.
But every time, if I'm going
You're
to
getting
send
paid
something,
every single time.
every time I have to convince myself this is a new cost. So I am being on my own way.
Does it almost make you even more productive in the sense of like you want to make the most of that unlimited membership? So you're like, well, let's pump up more stuff because I want to get my value out of this thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they provide a good service. I send them the thing and they do that and send them me for feedback.
Right.
And
So instead of being kind of that scarcity mode, you're more just like, no, let's just pump out as much as I can.
It's done. It's one decision to pay once.
Right.
And it's done.
And you commit
instead
to it.
of many small decisions and no commitment. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So let's say for that 1 hour phone call.
Yes.
And you get your 7 pieces of content out of that.
Yes.
Let's say if you were to break it down for that 1 hour of time of phone call, how much would that cost, do you think? So you were saying this phone call is going to produce, 7 pieces of content, and it sort of like snowballs outward or whatever.
Yes.
So how much does that phone call cost then? Like for all that content? Like what do you think for like those 7 pieces maybe in total after the one phone call? How much would all that cost?
I think the whole thing comes to maybe around somewhere $200 to $300 for everything to be created because it trickles down to all of those little things, and yet this is not a cost. This is an investment.
Right. Well, yes.
Right? Because now I have so many things to use in my marketing.
Totally.
Right.
So
Before I didn't have them.
So you basically have a different piece of content coming out every single day.
Yes.
Right.
And they all can be scheduled in a social media or marketing scheduling software or application and just be sent out there. And I told you if you do this in a smart way, like as in put them in topic bunches, you can have books from them. And guess what? After you have your first or a few books, all you have to do is to the same topic, add maybe a little bit of a more material as in worksheets and that sort of thing. And suddenly you have a course that you can teach people. So you have been through the material once.
Yeah.
In the phone call, you have created not only articles and memes and videos and webinars from that, but also books and ebooks and courses that now you can sell because the topic has been already crystallized and the thinking has been done. It's a matter of packaging them with worksheets and different things to make it a course, and that's a course that now you can sell.
It's it's a really interesting way of thinking about content creation because content creation seems very daunting. Like if you look at these guys online, like say Brian Roves from London Real or Gary Vee, like Brian's got like a 7-person production team behind him, and he's putting out high quality videos all the time, right? But this is an affordable way to put out, quality content pretty consistently, I'd say.
Yes.
Now, what would you say to somebody who's like, okay, that sounds great, but they're not Kayvon K and they don't have tons of ideas coming out all the time, or they're not an authority or an expert on a certain subject. How does somebody work around that if they want to put out lots of content when maybe they're not an expert on a particular subject?
Well, I believe everybody is an expert on something that they're helping people, and that could be expertise of cutting through the clutter, right? For example, you guys mentioned the Tropic?
Brain Evolve, yeah.
Brain Evolve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why did you choose that one? Because I guess you looked in through a bunch of them, tested them, and that's the final one that you selected.
Yeah. It's an amazing product. Like that's
Yes.
Yeah.
And people like me who trust you will go for that. You have done the work of removing all of the complexity and clutter of all of the other nootropics out there, and you simplified it to me for this one, the right one, go for it. Don't worry about it. It's done. Set it and forget it.
Yeah, and it also came down to Matt Bennett, the guy who designed it. He's very credible, very smart guy. He puts a lot of thought and care into the blend. Like,
so he kind of did it for us.
Yeah,
yes,
because we trusted him.
So
we had a high level of trust for him. We're like, oh yeah, no problem. And then we tried the product. I use it every day, and it's an amazing product for me.
So these characters that we just identified, the guy who did the research, you guys who tested it and found the best one and recommending it to your clients, anybody can find themselves in being in one of these characters, right? For example, there are many people out there that they're creating content, and all of their content is review of this, review of that, comparison of this, and comparing
or like the unboxing videos, like
unboxing
stuff like that.
videos, yeah.
They buy a new phone. Here we go.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of work for many of us.
Right.
Look at this microphone. Why did you choose this one?
Yeah.
Right. If somebody is a microphone expert, they can or maybe not even an expert, just get 4 or 5 different microphones and test them and recommend one to other people.
Right. So basically anything you buy could be a piece of content, more or less.
Anything you buy can be a piece of content because you did go through the whole process of selecting it.
Right.
A few years ago, I wanted to buy a car, and I'm not a car guy. I don't know about features and this and that and deals. And my brother, total opposite of me.
Yeah.
And he wanted to buy a car around the same time. He said, great, I have somebody who has all of the information. So I told him, these are the criteria that I have for a car. I want it to be like this, 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 and that. And he just thought for a second. He said, well, your only choices are this and that car. So from 20 cars, he just summarized simplified it to 2 options for me. I did a test drive on each one of them and picked one, and that was it.
Optimizing your whole world, basically.
Well, yeah, he did the optimization. I just outsourced it to him.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Outsource it. I'm going to start outsourcing things to my family. This sounds like a good idea.
I did that. Last time we went.
I outsource childcare to my mom sometimes.
We are doing that. We went to Bali last year to meet with our mutual friend Di and Christian family. Yes. The first day we got there, because over there we order food from so many different restaurants and they bring so many different nice things. So I told Christy, do not ask me what you want to eat. Whatever Di eats, I eat.
So Di's got the proven results. That's why.
There you go. And also, do not ask me what do you want to do today as far as activities, where you want to go, and how do you want to go. Here's my daughter, and she's good at arranging things and project managing and all of that. You talk to her. Just tell me when to show up and how much do I have to pay. So
nice.
I am on vacation.
Yeah.
Everything else is, I don't want to think about what to eat, what to do. Just tell me.
So what do you do? What do you do then?
You relax.
What?
Or you go on a little adventure, and you just
what is that concept? Relaxing.
Yeah. I reserve that for float tanks usually. That's awesome. So so I like that idea around everybody is potentially an expert in something, right? So it's like and some people, this world isn't for everybody either, because it is complex too. You know what I mean? I find like all the content creation and always putting out content and creating a product and selling something online. Like some people just don't want to do that. But I guess for people who are interested in working for themselves, maybe generating some side income, this is an avenue they could go. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. And we know more than what we think we know. Okay. Let me ask you this question. When it comes to, I just told you about buying a car, and the person that I think about is my brother. So I have a problem. Somebody pops up in my head as, ooh, he or she can help me with that, right? You have people like that in your life.
Totally.
What is it that people call you when they have that problem?
Oh, man. I don't know. I don't get a lot of phone calls. Maybe I'm not that useful.
I'm sure you do. You just no, because the thing is, because that is your strength. It's so natural to you. You don't even notice it.
What's this? So say that again. I want to hear this compliment.
Yes, that thing is your strength, but it's so natural to you. You don't even notice it. You think everybody's like that. Everybody thinks like that. Doesn't everybody think like that?
Right.
But we don't. You know, I've seen people that they're good with numbers, and his brain is just wired differently. Some people are good with words. Some people are good with things. Some people understand how technology works. Some people are technophobes.
Yeah.
Some people are good with social.
I feel like all I do is like think of ideas and push things out into the world. That's all I ever do. You know what I mean?
Go.
But I don't really like. I don't necessarily like. People don't come to me for a lot of advice necessarily, but I'm always just like putting stuff out.
It doesn't have to be advice. It could be, and you may not even think of it as advice. You said you come up with ideas and push them to the world.
Yeah.
Well, that pushing part is not easy for the rest of us.
Right.
If it's easy and natural for you,
yeah.
just by being there, looking at how you do it, we are being helped.
Right. True.
Right.
True.
It's a matter of identifying yourself with that and advertising it that way.
Yeah.
Introducing yourself that way. I think I mentioned it on the other time. My business title on my business card is simplifier. Because after conversation with other people, I realized that is what I do. It's not on a specific topic, but when there is something that they are kind of confused about, somehow
It's true. You distill it down.
Yeah, a chat, and because I'm asking questions because I want to understand it, and in answering my questions, they find their own clarity.
Is that something you've always been good at in your life? Is like, I know you've gone through medical school and like gone through that whole gauntlet of challenges. Is that something you've been naturally just good at yourself and have always been doing?
I have, and that's actually a recent discovery from the other time that I was here. So my aunt was visiting Vancouver.
Yeah.
And the last time I saw her, it was, 15, 16 years ago. So she didn't have much updates of what Kayvon has been up to in all of these years. So she asked me, what is it that you do? And I said, oh boy, how do I explain coaching and entrepreneurship to my aunt? So I took it as a challenge and I spoke for, 10 or 15 minutes. I explained what entrepreneurship is, what are the internal challenges entrepreneurs have, how is it filled with fear and doubt, and so many other things, and how is it that I can help them to get out of their own way, to do things in an optimized way, automate and outsource, blah, 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 blah. I just spoke, and she just listened to all of that. When I was done, she said, yeah, I understand. But Kayvon, that's what you always did.
Interesting.
So she always has been, like, from the time I was a little boy till now, she knows me. And I said, that's what do you mean? So that's something that I do these days. You always did that.
Right.
That's who you are. And she gave me some examples from my life. Like for her daughters, one of them I helped with her get into music, the other one with calligraphy or different things. That regardless of the topic, you help people get clarity and have a simplified answer and just go for that. That's who you are. That's what you always did. And that was a great realization at that moment. That was I thought that's a new thing that I am doing. I guess that's who I am. So we all have that, and that is a process that you want to go through. That are you a reader or a writer? Are you a speaker or a listener? Yeah, those are the first steps in that process.
Well, I like how you've being the simplifier has simplified, because there's to unpack what you just said there, there's a lot in there. There's a lot what you've been talking about. And it seems like you've packaged something that people can go and learn these skills.
Correct.
Right? And I'm guessing this is the Less Doing Masterclass.
Exactly.
So it's kind of, you're distilling it all down and teaching people this skill set now.
Correct.
Right.
That's exactly it. And that's why it's called Less Doing Masterclass, because there's a lot of moving pieces. They're all related. It's just a matter of coordinating them all together. I learned something very interesting. When you're nervous and you have the butterflies, your job is not to get rid of the butterflies. Your job is to make them fly in formation.
How do you do that?
By getting them to fly information one at a time.
Okay, you got to break that one down.
Yeah, what do you
for
mean
me.
by fly information? How
Yeah.
can a butterfly that's in a nervous sensation in your stomach fly information? What do you mean?
Your body
Yes.
is sensing that sense of anxiety,
Yes.
right? Your nervous system. It's very similar experience for your body when it's also excited. So excitement and being nervous are almost the same for your body. Your body kind of doesn't know
physiologically,
the difference.
it's the same process.
You know what?
You know the difference.
Here's the interesting thing. When I was in London doing the London Real podcast,
Yes.
I definitely had that sensation because I was like, this is such a cool experience. We're in London. We're gonna go get interviewed by Brian Rose, and we're gonna sit in the chair and be in the studio and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell if I was excited or nervous. And sometimes I'd be like, oh shit. And then you get self-conscious about it. And now I'm nervous. But then this is going to be such a great experience. This is really cool. I'm excited. So it's like, but the energy was almost exactly the same the whole time.
Yeah, as I said, your body doesn't know the difference. They are the same. It's how you decide to use that energy. So basically, if we let it take over, it's called nervousness. If we are in control, it's called excitement. So you've seen public speakers.
Yes.
Before they get on stage, they have the rituals. They go, yes, yes, yes. That's one method. Just the word yes has so much power in it that it will help us make the butterflies fly information. I actually just visualize the butterflies that they are all over the place, and suddenly they all stop and they start flying in the same direction. In that 1 second of thought, of visualizing some butterflies in my stomach going the same direction, and for some reason, my butterflies are blue.
So the butterflies
morpho.
represent useful information. Is that what they represent?
Or just
to
the
you?
energy?
They represent order. They represent control. They represent, I got this.
Okay, so the
Right.
butterflies are fluttering all over a little chaotically.
Yes.
That's when you're anxious or nervous.
Correct.
But when they're in order and you have a little bit of reins on them, then you're in control, and then you're just excited and you're focused and you
You're
can
excited.
perform.
Exactly.
Now, would that work just for you because you visualize butterflies and that's what it represents to you? Or can people just do that and it'll work?
I believe that it works for everyone. And the important part is the realization at the beginning. So I'm going to repeat that. Our job is not to get rid of the butterflies, is to make them fly information. So that's the battle that we get engaged in, and there's no point in that battle of trying to get rid of something. Like we cannot get rid of procrastination. We cannot get rid of perfectionism. We cannot get rid of doubt. If you have a pulse, you have those things. If you're a human, you have those things. The only thing that matters is who is in control. You are the creator of those things. You are the bigger being. You are the stronger being. Remember that. And you're in control. And that's all you want.
So now you're really getting into the idea of self-mastery.
Self-mastery,
and getting
yes.
control over maybe your emotions and your thoughts.
Correct.
Right.
And all you have to do is be brave for a second.
Be brave for a second. Okay, what does
1
that
second.
look like? When someone's really nervous, they're flustered, how do you get centered and like harness all that other than and maybe that's what it is, the butterfly
Yes.
visualization? Is there other techniques people can do to get centered,
Best
get brave?
techniques are,
and then-
physical. For all of them, start with stop. Many times, it's just, this works great. Just push your feet to the ground. Remember you're here. Remember yourself. Remember you're present. Just,
So grounding.
remember that you have weight. Because we look at the world through our eyes. We don't see ourselves. We
Right.
forget we exist.
Right.
And you do feel very like sort of light and sort of just ethereal in a sense.
Well,
when you're in your head, and
when
your
you're
mind, it's
the
just like
the thought frequency is like it's a frequency, right?
Yes.
Where then there's the physical frequency, and so when you're in
Right.
thought and you're identified and
it's
lost
very
in
loose
that,
and like lucid and flighty and
Yes.
it's not so solid.
And
so
you
it's
wanna make it
so bring
solid.
yourself back into your body.
So in NLP, anchoring and all of that, they use tricks like that, like clap twice, or make a strong fist, or stop and take a deep breath, count to 5, then let it go. Doesn't matter what the trigger. what it does is reminds you of, hold on a second, I'm here, I exist, I have the control.
Good stuff.
And
That's really good. That's a great technique, you know?
Yeah.
There's some sort of grounding. I did this NLP thing one time where what this guy did was he had me remember really powerful moments within my life that were just really powerful. Then I was like really like just at the top of my game, like euphoric, like just after I had a huge success in my life. And what he would do is he would like touch my knuckle. Every time I relived that experience, he'd touch my knuckle.
Yes.
And then the whole idea is that when I want to like trigger that memory of like empowerment, if you want to call it that,
Correct. Yeah.
you just you press your knuckle,
Yep.
and it becomes programmed in that part of your body. That's the theory of it, anyways. Like that sensation is like it helps you remember what it was like to be in that powerful state.
Yes. And this is natural to us. This is how we are. You all had examples of things reminding you of events, like smell.
Sure.
Smell is a big one,
Huge,
right?
music.
Music.
Yeah.
And or a certain joke or whatever.
Like certain songs bring you right back to high school or whatever, right?
Yeah. So we are just doing that on purpose.
Right.
We are doing what's natural to us.
That's
just
really
on purpose.
Because to me, I was always like, is NLP real? You know, like if you read about NLP, they say that there's like there's not a lot of really good science on it. Like if you Wikipedia NLP, that's what it says. But anecdotally, you know, like when you smell something from your childhood or you listen to that song from high school,
Yes.
you get a very visceral, and you have like maybe even a flood of imagery come in, and you remember
Yes.
certain things. It's
Time
it's very
travel
real.
exists, man. Time travel
Yes, it
exists.
does.
We live in a quantum world. We live in the holographic universe, you know? Like that is like is a little moment of like part of that past experience is literally happening again now. You know, that's
Yeah,
kinda
well,
cool.
I mean, part of it, I guess it's because it's, in some sense, it's encoded into your nervous system.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's with us.
And you, it's like this. There is always a trigger response in whatever we do. Okay. Now, either that thing is willy-nilly and not trained, or trained. Think of a martial artist. Something is coming aggressively towards them, and they know how to respond to that. If you're not trained, you don't know how to respond.
Right. You default to your training.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's like this. Trigger, you have two choices. Panic or training. To either react or respond. You always want to respond and not react. And react comes from training. And the training is simple. If this, then that.
Right. So it's like almost a little algorithm.
Yeah. It's the knuckle thing.
Right.
If this, then that. If I press my knuckle, then I am
You remember
empowered.
that feeling.
I remember the feeling, right? If I'm about to go to bed, I'll brush my teeth.
So brushing your
If-
teeth becomes a cue to go to sleep.
Yes, this way or the other way.
So it's like,
blue light.
it's like ritualizing things as well. Is that part of it?
having them connected to each other as a chain of events kind of a thing,
Yeah.
but programmed by us, designed by us. So this always ends up in that. This always ends up
I
in
think it's
that.
a very like because everyone does that automatically in so many different ways, but you're right. The conscious element is always what's missing, right? And I think that's like, I don't know, just for me right now, listening, I'm like, yeah, like
It does make a lot of sense when you
really
hear it like that.
harness that a lot more towards your optimization, right? Towards your productivity, towards or whatever you're trying to accomplish or bring more into your life. I think that's such a healthy reminder. Like, yes, we have this amazing power to do this. So like, take advantage of it.
Take advantage of it, and just because we, as you said, we're doing that anyway. We just need to do it on purpose.
Right. I like that. I like it.
I have a meeting I got to run off to in a little bit. Is there anything else that you really want to get out there today?
Well, just wanted to like this. Let's Doing Masterclass
Yes.
has 3 elements to it
Yeah.
that I think will serve a lot of people, and I put these 3 elements from every other course and mentorship that I have received. Basically, cherry picked all of the good stuff and put them in together.
Yeah.
One is every 90 days when we meet in person, there is a knowledge part to it. That the teaching part, then every person will get what we call a spotlight. So everybody in the room, we all focus on their business and come up with this strategy for the next year. And they walk away with a 90-day implementation plan. And in between, with the mastermind and accountability and continuous coaching, we give them the help and support that they need to implement that. I have been to many courses that the knowledge was there, implementation wasn't, or implementation was there, accountability wasn't. So putting them all together is the whole process. People can, as I said, go to letsdoingmasterclass.com and take a look at that. And this is not for everyone. And for you to find out if this is right for you, we have designed an assessment to test your readiness, and your score will determine if you are at the stage that this is the right thing for you. Because this is for people who have created something, yet they have got to the ceiling of complexity that with the habits and methods that they got to this level so far, they cannot go any further anymore. They need new habits, they need new mindsets, new methods, new approaches, and that's what happens in the Let's Doing Masterclass.
Well, it sounds really appealing, especially for someone who's established. Like if you really want to help yourself get to that next level, for sure. Right. Well, you guys can keep going if you want to keep going. If you want to keep rocking out for a little bit.
I think we can wrap up. It's been about 51 minutes, so that's a
a
healthy length. I think it's been really cool though. I mean, I am jazzed up on the whole. There's a lot of good pieces in here, so it's fantastic. But I think what you seem to be able to do naturally within your life is definitely coming out in your work, and I think it's super intriguing. I hope that people take advantage of this opportunity. Go check it out. Letsdoingmasterclass.com.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for saying that. And what you just said is what gives me joy, because I am at that stage and that point that what comes naturally to me and I can take full advantage of it and get better at every day is something that can serve other people.
Awesome.
So that's where I get paid.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome, Kayvon.
Good formula.
Honestly, I like it when we have these sort of consistent guests that people can go back and listen to, because we have a few like you now. Like Connor is one of them, Alexander Boldazar, Kayvon. We've had Dion a couple times.
Yes.
And I like it. It adds I think a certain feel to it to have guests that come on and consistently bring value. So we definitely have to do this again when maybe 6 months or whatever. Come back on the podcast.
love to do that. You talked about that delegation and outsourcing guide.
Yeah.
How about we create an episode just about the mindset and best approaches of how to delegate things out?
That sounds awesome.
Sounds
well,
good.
you have to come back in 3 months then, because people be like, man, I got to wait 6 months to get this information now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
How can people
This
get in
has
touch
been
with you? How can they get in touch with you? So
just
Let's
let's do masterclass.com.
Yeah.
I'm also available on social media. You can search for Dr. Kayvon K.
Yeah.
So DrKayvonK, and I'm easy to find.
Beautiful. All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, people. Well, thanks a lot for listening today and tuning in as usual. If you like what you heard today, give us a rating and review on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, a like, a share, tag a friend, whatever. Any kind of engagement is very appreciated. And I think that's it.
That's it.
If you want to float, go to floathouse.ca. Use the promo code Vancouver Real. Get yourself 20% off a single float. Come out to some of our community events. I'm at Andy Zaremba on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and Mike's not on social media anymore.
No, I'm a little disconnected right now with
disconnect.
fatherhood.
Plug back in, man. Plug back in.
I will one day.
We're waiting for you.
I got to go for the
We're waiting
inspiration,
for you.
know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks a lot for listening, and until next time,
To whatever is.
to whatever.